Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Joffrey Noodle Legs here today with another Noodle film review. Well, sort of. It's more of a review of the version of this film. Today we're looking at the 4K version of Wes Craven's Scream. So now I won't go too much into detail of the actual synopsis of the film because I'm sure you all know it really well, and if you've not seen it, I recommend to go and watch it because it's a classic slasher film from the 90s, and it starts off. The film's a little bit sort of like it's kind of like misleading because it's non-stop at the beginning. We start off with Drew Barrymore, like one of the sort of main stars of the film, sort of. It's one of those films, a bit like Psycho, where they kill off one of the main characters straight away. I mean, so she's at home and she starts receiving these phone calls from our sort of killer. At this time, we don't know it's the killer. All we know is she's getting this phone call. This guy keeps phoning her up, and as he's phoning her up, he gets more and more menacing and more threatening, and sort of stuff like this. So it's very similar to When a Stranger Calls, and films like that. And this is why I love Scream, because it's like I told you before, it takes all the good things out of other slashers and pops them into one, like a good killer, good storyline, good plot. It follows all the principles of a slasher to the T, and that's what makes it great, I think, and it's done perfectly. And that's probably down to Wes Craven's amazing skill of directing. Yeah, so she keeps receiving these calls, and then she tries to be sort of toughen up, say, "Oh well, my boyfriend's going to be here in a minute," and all this sort of stuff. But she doesn't realise that he already knows his boyfriend, and her boyfriend's tied up outside, in a chair, in a garden chair by the pool. So she turns on the light and sees that he's actually tied up. And then the killer's really cool. He wants to play like a horror game with her, asking her all these questions about horrors. You know, who's the killer in Halloween? Which she gets right, says Michael Myers and stuff like that. And then he asks her the question, who's the killer in Friday the 13th? And she thinks she's got it right, and she says Jason. And we all know she's wrong. Jason's not the killer until Friday the 13th Part 2. Because in Friday the 13th Part 1, the killer is his mother, Mrs. Voorhees, revenging the way that Jason's supposed death. So that's what so she got that wrong. So her boyfriend gets killed in the garden. And then he throws another question at her saying, well, here's your bonus question, sort of thing, if you want to survive. And he starts giving her sort of different questions, and then he asks her, well, what door am I at? And so she's then panicking, running around, making sure the doors are shut. And then he throws a chair through the window. And then she's sort of like, then he's in the house, and there's sort of like the chase goes on. She manages to hide from him, and then gets out, and then he jumps through the window. Her parents are on the way home, and just before they arrive, he catches up with her in the yard and he kills her. He stabs her, and then sort of like the parents come home and find her hanging from the tree with all of her guts hanging out. And then in the film, we cut to then the main part of the film, because you think, God, this is excellent, you know, non-stop. But this is just the beginning of the film. It's like the intro of the film. Then the main film actually starts, and we see Sidney Prescott. That's the first time we see her, who then follows on through the rest of the franchise as our like final girl. So that's how the film sort of starts. So I'm not going to go into the synopsis of the film because I'm sure you've all seen it and you all know the killer, Ghostface, and all like this, and the story, and how cleverly plotted it is, and it's got little twists and turns throughout the film. Very clever. It takes a lot of bits of Halloween. It takes a lot from I think films like Valentine, and films like what's the one that I love? Happy Birthday to Me, with the sort of twists and turns, and it takes a lot from all the other sort of horrors of the 80s. You know, Friday the 13th. If you're in Friday the 13th, you're a bad camper having sex with girls or whatever and things like that, you were going to get it, and it happens all in this as well, which is really cool. So the synopsis of the film, it doesn't read, not explaining. If you've not seen it, watch it, because it's awesome. So the reason why I'm reviewing this today is because I watched the 4K version. So what do I think of the 4K version? Incredible. It has to be one of the best 4K films I think I've seen. The print is immaculate. The darks are fantastic. The blacks are black. The colours are vibrant. The picture is absolutely sharp, and it looks stunning. Absolutely, I know. Even if you watch Blu-ray, it still looks amazing. But this takes it to an all new level, and it's one of the best looking Blu-rays I own. So the pluses of it, obviously, is the picture quality. The sound quality is fantastic as well. It does have, I believe, the Atmos sound on there. I don't have that set up. I just have a normal sound bar, so I just have it running through that, and it sounds absolutely brilliant. The film's fantastic. Great cast. Amazing cast. So many people in this film, and you think, wow, there's so many like famous actors and stuff in there. And it's just like famous person after famous person. They all sort of come out in this film, which is really, really great. You know, Henry Winkler's in it. I mean, the Fonz. Hey. So anything with him in's got to be amazing, right? So it's just like such a cool film. And this version is absolutely fantastic. The minuses of it, I still think it's a little bit slim on the old special features. To be honest, it's just got a couple of sort of like makings of an audio commentary and a behind the scenes. So again, I just think it could have done more. It comes with the 4K and the Blu-ray, and I just think it could have been better, because the special features are pretty much all on the Blu-ray, and there's not enough of them. There's not a lot of difference to this than it is on the Blu-ray version, and that is the only minus of this 4K version of Scream, and that is the lack of extra features. I would have loved, there's a couple of things that I would really love them to have done. I'd love them to make a sort of like a parody film of probably not on this one, but on Scream 2 of Stab. That would be really, really cool. But what I would have loved on this would have been like on the Pieces Blu-ray, where you have an audience audio at a theatre. That would have been absolutely fantastic, and that would have been so, so cool. But it's not. So I'm going to score the 4K version of Scream an essential purchase and give it a 10 out of 10. If you've got 4K equipment, you need to own this. It's a really good, really cool picture and quality of sound. And it's the best version of the film that I've ever seen. I mean, I've seen it in the cinema, and it's better than the cinema version. It just looks and sounds stunning. 10 out of 10 Scream. Any of you guys seen the 4K version? Let me know down below what you thought of it. If you've seen the normal version, let me know down below what you think of it. It is a great film. It is a really, really cool film. It gets knocked by a lot of horror sort of fans, I think, as not being like a great sort of slasher, but it is. The only problem is with it is that it's taken elements out of every slasher that's gone before it and put it together into one. But that's what Wes Craven was wanting to do. This is his shout out to the slasher genre. The slasher genre sort of died away near the end of the 80s and the early 90s. So this is his tribute to that era of horror. And he's done it masterfully, and he's put together such an awesome film. I love Scream, and I think it doesn't get the appreciation from the horror world than it deserves. The normal mainstream world loves Scream, but I think the horror sort of genre needs to sort of like appreciate it more. I mean, I love it. I mean, I've got a ghost face there on my arm. You can see next to Michael Myers. So you know, that's how much I love Scream. I have it tattooed on my body. I think it's a great film, great little franchise, underrated as a franchise in my opinion. So there we are, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this little look at Scream. Um, I will look. I did pick up Scream 2 on 4K as well. So we will have a look at that as well, and I'll tell you the quality of that in maybe not straight away, maybe in a week's time or whatever. We'll have a little look at that, and we'll go through the quality of that. As you see, I've put a few clips up, but that's not really for the synopsis. I just want you to look at the quality of the picture and appreciate how stunning it looks. Thanks for watching, guys. Till next time, go and check out some horror channels for me. Horror Hands, Horror Geek, Man v Film, RS Designs, who is now a horror channel because he's put a horror video out. Go and check it out. It's really cool. Pizzlewell, I Am the Ice Lord, Sarah Watches Horror, Cat Watches, no, Sarah of Horror, Cat Watches Horror Movies, Grumpy Andrew's Haunted House, all amazing channels. And From the Shore, go and check their channel out as well. Until next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I'll see you all soon. Oh, and I will put these posters up, guys, I will. I just haven't got around to it. And shout out to my amazing son, Lemon Lord. Take care, guys.